welcome to Geography TV. I am the Daddy. Today we're on about urban ecosystems, and we're sponsored by the Prevention for Cruelty Against Woodlice. Thank you. As an urban area expands, the ecosystem gets more complex, and there are more niches for organisms to occupy. An organism's niche is its role in an ecosystem, including its habitat and its place in the food chain. Take this woodlouse, for example. I'm unsure exactly what it's doing, but it's definitely a woodlouse. It will make its home under logs, leaf litter and stones, where it is cool and damp. It feeds on dead plant matter and breaks it down into smaller pieces to aid decomposition by fungi and bacteria. Daddy here again. The growth of urban areas can support many small-scale ecosystems. For example, urban gardens and parks. They often have a large variety of plant species that are home to and food for lots of invertebrates. These invertebrates are then eaten by birds that nest in the shrubs and trees around the areas. Mammals such as squirrels and hedgehogs also visit these gardens and parks. Here we have a pond. Things live in ponds. Therefore, this pond has things living in it. I don't know what things live in this pond, but I'm sure it's an eclectic mix nature. Finally, there are roads and railways that provide wildlife corridors for animals. This is where they use the verges along the road to travel from one place to another. A range of plant species grow by the roadside due to the cars carrying seeds to the verges and the nitrogen-rich exhaust fumes helping to boost plant growth. But as the roadsides are often managed, biodiversity can be lost and habitats disrupted. Birds of prey feed off invertebrates. I have a distinct feeling something's behind me right now. That live in the hedgerows, and birds of prey may hunt and carrion birds scavenge along the roadside. I'm terribly sorry for that interruption. Anyway, I'm off for a cup of tea. See you in a bit. Ciao. Is sports fields. They are dominated by grass due to the constant mowing that removes any small plants like daisies or dandelions. Lots of invertebrates live in the surrounding hedgerows. Birds visit to feed on seeds and insects in the surrounding area. Look around at the natural beauty you see here. Hello and welcome. Today we're on about urban environments and urban ecosystems. Urban growth affects ecosystems in the rural-urban fringe. The rural-urban fringe is where urban areas meet rural areas. It has a variety of land uses: residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, recreational, that's a lot of olds, and routeways. The variety of land uses means that there's a variety of ecosystems. Both rural ecosystems and urban ecosystems can be found in the rural-urban fringe. As urban areas grow, ecosystems in the rural-urban fringe are affected. As the population of urban areas increases, there is often new development in the rural-urban fringe, which can destroy ecosystems. For example, a higher demand for water might mean that grassland is flooded to create a reservoir. Rural ecosystems can be broken up by new developments. For example, new developments may gradually surround a wood, cutting it off from other rural areas. This can separate populations of organisms from each other and from important feeding grounds. Increased human populations cause more air and water pollution, which can damage ecosystems. Water pollution from industrial or domestic waste reduces biodiversity in the watercourses, which can affect bird populations because it reduces their food supply. Lots of people visit the rural-urban fringe to do recreational activities. Visitors can disrupt ecosystems by disturbing wildlife and increasing soil erosion along paths and trails. Some visitors can cause more serious problems such as dropping litter and fly tipping, destroying wildlife, vandalism and starting fires.
Wastelands are created when deindustrialization or deforestation occurs. What happens is all the vegetation is removed, creating a wasteland. Let's go to it now. Okay, so in this wasteland, what you can see is there's hardly any vegetation. There is just a little bit. Mustards and lichens need very little water to grow, as we can see from here. Okay. So this little bit of moss has the ability to survive very harsh conditions. Okay, so we've moved on to two ecosystems. So we've moved from the wasteland onto the forest land, and what we have seen is two very distinct ecosystems. One very dry, hardly any little vegetation, and one with lots of vegetation. And moving on, we're going to go on to. Brilliant. This is what we have there. Look, weasel droppings. Yeah. And what this does is, this stuff's good for vegetation. It gets things going. It fertilizes the ground. Let things grow. This vegetation, for instance, the Guardiano, which started off in, I believe it was North America. These were imported to the British countryside to help feed badgers and rabbits, and this has been very successful. And as you can see, you know, this species is thriving. And what these species are, they're invasive. So what happened was the grey squirrels were better at surviving in the environment that the red squirrels were in. They were tougher than them, they were stronger than them, and they got the nuts. The red squirrels didn't. They're out. Red squirrels are gone. The only remaining places where red squirrels thrive are the following: Isle of Wight, parts of Lancashire, and parts of Scotland. Unplanned introductions can occur in various ways, spreading from gardens. E.g., Oxford ragwort was introduced as an ornamental plant but has spread to the wild. Escaped animals. E.g., ring-necked parakeets in southeast England descend from escaped pets. Okay, so Jimi Hendrix in the 1960s released these parakeets, and it's believed that these parakeets released by Jimi Hendrix actually started to breed. You know, you can see them in almost everywhere in London. And importation, e.g. the Harlequin ladybird is thought to have arrived on imported flowers from other countries coming into the UK.
Here we are in a conservation area in the Mersey Forest up north. These areas are developed for a variety of reasons, which include encouraging wildlife back into cities and making cheap use of an area that would otherwise be derelict. It also allows a diverse species base to be maintained and can allow locally extinct species to be reintroduced. Ecological conservation areas are areas of land that have been granted a protected status to ensure that the ecosystems that exist there are preserved and enhanced. An example of this is the Mersey Forest that we are in, situated behind us. There are many benefits to this conservation area. Environmentally, it creates a habitat for woodland wildlife, amphibians, and increases biodiversity. Over 800 hectares of non-woodland habitat have also been created. As you can see, there's 800 hectares behind us. Socially, 60% of the 1.5 million local residents. As you can see, there's a large city to my right. We are on the rural urban fringe. Use this area for recreation, all their sports places here, which improves health by promoting exercise and reducing stress. Finally, economically, the improved image of the area has boosted the economy, and sustainable forestry has created 150 new jobs since 1994. Conservation helps to protect any area for the wildlife that resides there and for the future generations to come. If you look carefully, you can see some fishes in the pond and some birds in the grand oak tree without any leaves. So yeah, that's ecological conservation in the Mersey Forest that we are in. Goodbye!
And that's it from us today at Geography TV. From me, the Daddy, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been educational. And yeah, that's about it. I'm off to the pub. See you later. Ta-ta.